we really the sum total of our experiences? If that's true, what does that mean for those of us who've experienced sexual violence, domestic violence, or other traumas? Our veterans are not the only ones suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Unfortunately, any trauma survivor may suffer from PTSD. It starts with facing the truth about what's holding you back. Whether it's a past trauma or not, please don't wait until your life starts falling apart like I did. If it's about a past trauma or something that you feel you can't handle on your own, please get professional help to guide you. While we can't change our past, we can change our outlook, make empowering changes that help us conquer the darkness that's crushing our spirit. In today's reading, Moses could have led a life of luxury in the Egyptian palace. However, once he found out that he was actually Jewish, he refused to live a lie. Moses chose to live with the Hebrews, even though it made him live in poverty and slavery. He chose light over darkness. Listen to how much he grew to identify with the Jewish people at the end of today's reading. It says, on one occasion, after Moses had grown up, when he visited his kinsmen and witnessed their forced labor, he saw an Egyptian striking a Hebrew, one of his own kinsmen. Looking about and seeing no one, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. The next day he went out again, and now 2 Hebrews were fighting. So he asked the culprit, "Why are you striking your fellow Hebrew?" But the culprit replied, "Who has appointed you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" Then Moses became afraid and thought, "The affair must certainly be known." Pharaoh too heard of the affair and sought to put Moses to death, but Moses fled from him and stayed in the land of Midian. Today's song reminds me of how far I've come in 10 years. Back then, all the symptoms of PTSD just overwhelmed me. At times I felt like I was paralyzed and sinking into quicksand. Already in therapy for almost 5 years, my progress was going at a snail's pace. Now, PTSD free, I'm a totally different person. Today, whether you're a trauma survivor or not, everyone's life seems like a constant struggle filled with stress. Whatever you're going through, I hope you find some consolation in these few psalm verses that say, "See, you lowly ones, and be glad. You who seek God, may your hearts revive. For the Lord hears the poor and his own who are in bonds, he spurns not. Turn to the Lord in your need, and you will live." When I first read today's gospel, it seemed cruel. After reflecting on it, I realized that Jesus, what he meant. Unlike today, the people of Jesus' time met him, heard him preach, and witnessed his miraculous healing powers, yet some of them chose not to follow him. Why? I believe it was because following Jesus means taking an honest look at yourself and making lifelong changes. Rather than do this, some people chose to reject him. Living an authentic Christian life means constant reflection, vigilance, and it takes a lot of work. You're making an eternal commitment to God the Father and Jesus. Your relationships with them will be challenging, yet the most rewarding relationships you'll ever have. It's my experience. Once I came to know Jesus through prayer, reading the Bible, and learning how he practiced what he preached, I came to a point like you do in any relationship where I knew this person was authentic, that I wanted to get closer and work on a more intimate relationship with Jesus and God the Father. Now listen to the gospel. Jesus began to approach the towns where most of his mighty deeds had been done, as they had not repented. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethesda! For if mighty deeds done in your midst had been done in Tyre and Sidon, they would have long ago repented in sackcloth and ashes. But I tell you, it will be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon on the day of judgment than for you. And as for you, Capernaum, will you be exalted to heaven? You will go down to the netherworld. If the mighty deeds done in your midst had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. But I tell you, it would be more tolerable for the land of Sodom on the day of judgment than for you. Like I said earlier, while we can't change our past, we can change our outlook and make empowering changes to help us conquer the darkness that's crushing our spirit. In today's reading, Moses could have led a life of luxury in the Egyptian palace. However, once he found out that he was actually Jewish, he refused to live a lie. Moses chose to live with the Hebrews, even though it meant a life of poverty and slavery. Despite his hardships, He maintained a positive outlook and consulted God every step along his spiritual journey. How can you do that? The Holy Spirit of God inside you knows what changes that you need to make. To find out what that means for you, follow the advice found in Matthew chapter 7, verses 7 and 8. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to one who knocks the door will be opened. During your discernment, I suggest you include contemplative prayer. That's where you sit and listen for what God's trying to tell you. I practice centering prayer. It's awkward at first, but I recommend it you try it sometime. Below this video, I'm including a link to a page with videos from Contemplative Outreach's website. You can also find information about other forms of contemplative prayer there. I've been practicing centering prayer for more than 25 years, and it's helped me live more in the present moment and hear God when He speaks to me during my day. It also helped me survive the darkness, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, from the childhood sexual violence that I suffered for many years. When flashbacks overwhelmed me, it gave me the coping skills to pull myself out of my horrific past and back into the present. Like I've said before, prayer is an infinitely powerful and supernatural life force. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll be empowered. God bless you. And be sure to take care of God's precious gift.